Good day. My name is Msindi Sintengwani and welcome to my Design Project 3 presentation for UNISA. My presentation is about a project that I've designed and built that I've decided to call the iMixer version 1, and I'm going to talk briefly about it in this presentation. So what is it? The iMixer version 1 is, in simple terms, a automatic cocktail mixing machine. It mixes drinks and cocktails automatically, and what it does really is it facilitates, or rather it takes over the process of ordering, of mixing, of paying and serving the customer from the bartender, which means it assists the bartender in these aspects. The background to this is, so since the advent of COVID-19 in South Africa and the world in general, actually, there has been a huge need for assistive technologies that are sort of go-betweens for people to avoid interacting with each other physically. And this machine is one such project. So there are existing projects out there that do the same thing or similar. And one such or two of the ones that come to mind are the Barsys, and the other one is the Mixo Infinity by a company called Mixologic. So these two are very similar to this project. However, the issue with them is that they're not available locally in South Africa, and the parts that you need to repair them are not available in South Africa, and that's some of the parts at least. And then the service and the maintenance needs to be done at the supplier, which means you need to ship the whole unit back to the supplier for them to service it for you or to do maintenance, which can be very costly for a business or a household. So that's where this project comes in. So what makes it different? Again, it's the cost factor. The amount of money that the user is going to fork out to purchase or to own one of these units is significantly less than what they would pay to own, say, a Barsys or a Mixo Infinity. So that's one of the biggest selling points of this project. But also it's different because it's made locally in South Africa. Its parts and everything are available locally in South Africa. It can be serviced locally. You can buy the parts and replace them locally. So again, it just cuts the whole cost factor down for your business or for any establishment, really, any social setting or similar establishment. So how does it work? So the machine itself does not operate independently of human interaction. However, there's a human-machine interface that is an app. So as it stands now, I'm using this tablet with an app. There's an app inside it, and this is an app that I've developed for this project specifically. So the app is a way in which the machine communicates with the user. So it sends some signals or information to the Arduino board on the system, and the Arduino board does the computational logic in the background, and it sends information back to the app and ultimately to the user to alert the user of the stage of the ordering process that they are in. So it's a two-way communication between the app and the machine itself. So yes, further on how it works, there's programmed subroutines into the microcontroller, the Arduino. So I've basically modularized all the subroutines to take care of the individual aspects of the machine. So you will find a single subroutine for the motion of the slider. So the slider moves back and forth, and that's one subroutine. You'll find another subroutine for the lifter. You'll find another subroutine for the motion that moves left or right for selecting the individual dispensers. So it's modularized in that sense, so that it's easier to troubleshoot and it's easier to understand for any person that might be looking at the code that is behind this project. So one of the main features of the project is precision pouring. And by this I mean it pours the exact same amount of liquid every single time without spill, without any kind of wastage. So my dispensers are 25 milliliters each, which means every single time the machine pours from a dispenser, it pours exactly 25 mil, and that's what the customer gets. And it also helps with the business to avoid waste and to be able to work sustainably. So the project itself has a 99.9% uptime. I say 99.9% because it needs to be serviced obviously and it needs to be maintained. So given the amount of time that it takes, which I've dubbed down to about an hour for service and about 3 hours for maintenance, versus the amount of time that it would have been in operation before you need to do maintenance or service, it comes down to that about 99.9%. So it works non-stop obviously, and for as long as it's plugged into a live power supply, and there's obviously liquid or liquor in the bottles, it will continue working non-stop up until you decide to take it for a service or do maintenance on it. So that's essentially the overall information about the project. I'm just going to go quickly to the back so I can show you the different parts that are in the project that facilitate the way the project works and the way it behaves. So what you have here is it's actually a 15 volt power supply. I've made it a 15 volt power supply purely for the purpose of speeding up the motors. So it takes 230 volts from the wall socket and it converts it to 15 volts. In this case, it's a variable power supply, so you can vary it up and down from 15 up to about 60 to 70 volts. And then this is your Bluetooth module. This is a HC06. This is how the unit itself communicates with the application in the mobile phone. This is your Arduino Uno. That's the control center of the project. And these are just 4-channel relay modules. These are used for switching the motors, because the motors operate on 12 volts and they cannot be switched directly from the Arduino Uno. And this unit here is the coin acceptor that the user would be entering their coins in to pay for their order. So I'm just going to pull it quickly into view so you can see. Okay, there we are. Right, so I'm just going to connect the power to it. So the module works on 2 power sources. There's this cable that powers the Arduino Uno, and this cable that powers the power supply that ultimately powers the whole system. So I haven't combined these power supplies because I prefer to have it this way so that I know there's no possibility of spikes of voltage from this power supply affecting the Uno or the Arduino Uno. So the first is to connect the power supply, the overall power supply, and then you'll see there's 15 volts down there. And then the second part is just connecting the Uno. So the lights go on and there's a click that goes on to indicate that the machine is ready for operation. So the next step is to use the app to make your order. So this is what the app looks like. So it's called Barbot, that's what I've called it. So you simply open it.
Hello, and welcome to the iMixer version 1. Please press the start button to begin your service.
Okay, so it has voice prompts because I wanted it to be as user-friendly as possible so that you don't have to guess what to do or have to go and interact with the bartender or the owner to ask how do I do this and how do I do that. So we just press start.
This is the drinks menu. Please swipe left or right to select your drink, or press the button below to mix your own drink.
Right, so you can swipe left or right. So these are the pre-programmed drinks already. So you've got the Cape Snow, you've got your Finboss there, and those are the values, the prices for each at the bottom there. So for the purpose of this this demonstration, I'm just going to mix my own So I will select a single shot of Jameson. So it asks you, do you want a single shot or a double shot? I'm gonna go single for Jameson, and then choose an Amarula, say double shot of Amarula, and which one? Okay, let's say Jack Daniels, double shot of Jack Daniels, and just accept the order.
Wonderfully done. This won't take long. Stand by. Connection to station not detected.
Okay, so it's trying to connect now to the Bluetooth module.
Your total is 144 rand 60 cents.
Okay, so that's the total, and if you're happy with your total, it shows you there that you have a single shot of Jameson there, a double shot of Amarula, and a double shot of Jack Daniels. You accept that, and it puts your value there. So I'm using a 5 rand coin for this process, so it will take a bit of time to go from 145 basically down. So I'm just going to go here. Okay, let's see. Right. So it will go down all the way to 0, and I've been having issues with displaying the data as it comes through from the Bluetooth, which is why you see sort of strange numbers on the screen there. It's mainly because the data is coming too fast from the Bluetooth and Arduino isn't processing it fast enough. So I haven't been able to figure that out yet. Let me just see if the screen will switch off there. Okay, so it did. Just gonna switch that back on so you can see where we 74 rands. Right. So let's try and bring it down to 0. So what should now happen is once the amount goes down to 0, the machine will start mixing the drink, and it will tell you to stand clear of the machine so that you don't injure yourself or anyone else around. Just want to keep the screen on. Okay, we're at 29 rand, so that should be a few more coin inserts, and it should be almost there. There we go.
Thank you. Please stand clear of the machine while I pour your drink.
Okay, so that's a single shot of Jameson. Let me just bring this closer. So the single shot of Jameson has been poured. It's moving now towards the Amarula, which is all the way to the side. Okay, so it's a double shot of Amarula. There's the first one. So it should come back again for another shot. Okay, so the dispensers are very poor quality, unfortunately, so they don't refill immediately. I've explained why this happens in the report as well. So the last one should be our Jack Daniels, which is a double shot as well. So here we are. First shot of Jack Daniels. Goes back, and then we pause the second one. Right. So unfortunately, I haven't had enough time to fine-tune the positioning of the motors and everything, but the basic principle is there, it works, and it's demonstrable. Here's your double shot of Amarula, your single shot of Jameson, and your double shot of Jack Daniels. Thank you.